Hey there, it's Jennifer Trask, and today we are going to go through day 5 of Date with Destiny. I'm really excited for today because I think it's a really useful exercise that a lot of people really need, and they need to understand, and it will make a really big difference in your life. If you'll notice, a lot of people are going through their life based on a story that they've made up, based on things that have happened to them. And so what's unfortunate is that most people's stories are limiting and negative. And so, I don't have this education, so I can never have this. Or this bad thing happened to me, so I'm never going to make it here. And so on and so forth. And these are all just stories. I mean, you can make your life anything you want it to be, no matter what circumstance you want. And all you have to do, if you don't believe that's possible for you, is to go to the autobiography or the biography section of a bookstore, and you'll read stories of amazing people who have triumphed over things that you can never imagine. I mean, personally, I know people who have been stories of homeless people who have become multimillionaires, and it is all because they realized all they needed was within them, and that they could learn to attract the right people and resources that they need to help them no matter what their situation. So, but for most people as well, especially for those in sort of living day to day regularly, you have a job and a regular good income and a house and all that, they still use stories for the reasons why they're not doing maybe the things that they really want to do. And a lot of that comes from experiences that you have had, and it usually comes from specific person or people that were there during that experience. So one thing that we really learned a lot about was effective blaming. And essentially what you're doing is looking at a situation that happened to you in the past that has really affected your life in a negative way. And for some people, that could be maybe being really ridiculed a lot in school for their weight, for example. And then, they're always really shy, and maybe they gain a lot of weight, or maybe they go the opposite way and they get really into fitness. But they always have this they feel bad about their weight, and they'll always have weight problems and eating disorders and things like that. Maybe their romantic relationships suffer because they don't have a good body image, so on and so forth. But really, what we can look at here is, if we're going to do effective blaming, and if you're going to blame someone for something that happened to you and therefore had all these negative effects, you really need to blame them for the positive effects that came with it. So let me give you an example. Let's say that, we'll take the weight issue, and I know a lot of people deal with this. Let's say that you were ridiculed, or some things happened to you in school or outside or what have you, but you've always had issues with your weight. But maybe because you've always had issues with your weight, you really excelled in other areas of your life. You could be very type A, and because of that, you're very successful in your grades, or you build a big business, or what have you, something like that. And so if you're going to blame them for all the negative things that they've done, then blame them too for all those positive things. Because what we've really realized, and when you really view the world in this way, it makes your life a lot easier. That person or people were not what you wanted, but it was what you needed, whether you realize it or not. And it was what you needed so that you could learn to be a certain way to get to where you are today. Because it wasn't all bad. You did learn some good from that situation. And so when you can own that and blame them for all the bad and all the good, it's a lot easier to release from that and to let it go, and to realize that that wasn't necessarily a bad thing that happened to you. It's just what you needed in your life. Because everyone who comes to you to teach you something. And some people teach you things that they do it in such a way that you don't like it, and other people do it in ways that you like it. And most of us see the people who we don't like when they teach us a lesson as bad. But what we really need to realize is that we need those people in our lives. Because whether we want to know it or not, they're there to teach us something. So next time you have a somewhat negative experience, think about what you're meant to learn from it. And I'm going to give you an example because I know everyone will relate to this. Have you ever met someone who keeps getting into bad relationships, and every time they get into that relationship, it's like the same relationship but with a different person over and over and over again? Well, what's happening to that person is that they're not learning the lesson that they're meant to be learning. So they're telling themselves the same story over and over and over again. So they're attracting the same bad boyfriend or bad girlfriend every single time. And that's why they're getting that. And that can be in any type of experience, even if you have consistently bad jobs and the same thing keeps happening to you over and over again, maybe with a few tweaks. But that's what it is. It's you telling the same story and not learning the lesson you're meant to learn from that. So what I want you to do is go back, and is there something or several events that have happened to you, people are involved, that are shaping your life in a negative way? Because if they are, you need to let that go. You need to go back and blame them effectively. Blame them for the negative, blame them for the positive, understand why they were in your life, what you were meant to learn from them, and then you'll be able to move on. And I promise you, it's a very freeing exercise. You will feel so grateful, because when you're angry at someone, the only person that it hurts is you, because you're harboring that negative energy, and that's bad for your soul. They could be moved on, possibly even passed away, and not feeling anything because you're upset with them. You're the one who suffers the most from that. So look at it strategically. Look at it from the point of view of, okay, I was meant to learn something. That person was a gift to me. Not wrapped up as I would like to see it, but I needed it. And now I'm going to be grateful for it because I learned X, Y, Z, and I can blame that person for those things. And then I promise you, you will be able to just feel like this massive weight has been lifted off your shoulders, and you'll be able to move forward from that and learn the lesson. Because here's the thing, folks. You will always have problems. It's just that you want your problems to become better problems, and as you grow, you will get better at solving problems quickly, so they don't tend to linger around as much. So that's it for today. That was one of the major things that we learned in day 5, and we did the exercise, and a lot of people had a lot of breakthroughs that day. So give yourself the gift of doing this exercise. The last part of that was to actually call the person or go see them if they're in your town, and to blame them and start with the negative and then tell them the positive. And it can be a very emotional thing for both of you. And it's not about forgiving them as such. It is just about releasing that for you. It is for you. It doesn't necessarily mean you guys are going to be reconnected if you were disconnected. It doesn't have to mean any of that. You're just doing this because it's an exercise that you're doing to move forward in your life. And that's it. So that's it. Please leave any comments, especially if you actually go out and effectively blame somebody. Let me know how it goes, how it makes you feel, and what happened, especially when you told the other person. And make sure you also please share this on the social networks. This is a really, really important exercise that I think a lot of people will benefit from. So make sure you do that. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.